jigs that has several design concepts that are unique.
Yeah.
I mean, any other walleye jig, it's just the head and
it could be laying on its side versus where this one here lands on its head every time when it's down in the water.
Right, the head under
That's
design
amazing.
keeps it 100%
It is definitely
balanced.
amazing.
Yep.
You could do anything with this thing. You could add plastics to it. It's a whole new innovation for the plastic
You can
world.
pitch it, you can vertical jig it.
It's
you can
unbelievable.
swim
You
it
can fish
in
it with an exposed hook, or you can make it weedless. And there's not too many walleye jigs that you can make weedless, you know, where you can rig it up. So,
No, it's amazing, boy. And when it's up in the air like that, and they pick this thing up, it's obviously it's the depth of the hook on this thing, where it is so deep in the fish. When you set that hook on, it is deep inside of his mouth.
Yeah,
I mean,
the hook gap it's 100% open. So as soon as that fish
he's
picks it
picking
up,
the hook.
it
He's
drives
picking
it
that
into
hook
the,
right up
into
in
the
him.
mouth right away.
no, it's amazing that way. It is definitely amazing.
you know, a lot of people they say, oh, I don't like to fish a short shank jig. They think that's a short shank, you know, because it looks like it is. But if you ever took a long shank jig and put the whole point and the eyelet together, if you look at that distance, that's quite a ways there, but it just looks like a short, like a live
wide
bait.
wide open concept.
Well, another obvious thing about the knuckle ball is no other jig has this head design where you can put a plastic under the head of the jig and it won't come off. And there's no other jig like it.
It protects it.
Yeah, it's definitely amazing.
Well, the Zonar has the hydrodynamic design, so it's the flat sides. It cuts through the current.
Yep. And where the 3/8 in this size doesn't, then it starts out 3/8 and goes bigger up to 3/4.
Right. So you have more feel with the Zonar and current and wind
Down to
and
the bottom.
deeper water. So you can vertical jig it. I mean, that's when I use the Zonar all the time on the river. I mean, there's nothing better in current than the Zonar. There's
And
nothing.
even on a rough day on the lake, sometimes it takes the Zonar to get to the bottom.
I've fished Mille Lacs many times with
Right.
the Zonar. It gets right
and
down.
you wouldn't do it without that cut of this design of this jig, you know, and it's pretty amazing. It's
Yeah. Well, like the knuckle ball is a casting jig, you know, you throw it to shore, it's in the rocks and stuff, but you wouldn't throw that Zonar jig
No, it's not
to
a
shore because
pitching jig, no.
it's with the flat side, it can tip over, but if you're pulling it, dragging it on the bottom, it will stand up just like the original, but
it's
you got
designed
no-
for the deeper waters, though. It really is.
Yep, and you throw that in the rocks, it's going to have a tendency to tip over and snag, just
Right.
like any other jig, I guess. But
So yeah, again, just the knuckle ball is for dragging, pitching. You can vertical jig it, of course, but Zonar primarily, I would say, is for vertical jigging.
deep water.
Unless you can drag it in sand, but
Yeah.
Yep. No, it is quite a design, boy. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I need another beer.
Metallic orange, and then followed by a orange and chartreuse. Those are my two favorite.
my favorite, it just depends, where you're fishing, what the weather's like. Obviously, in cloudy days, you want to fish with dark colors, so the glow colors, or black and orange. That's always been a go-to for sure. Fish Leech Lake a lot, green and yellow. Green and chartreuse is best there. So it just depends, I think, where you are. But my favorite, always my go-to, is orange and black.
I'm all metallic. I love metallics.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like every time I run in down, especially, we're all river rats, you know. I mean, we do fish the Mississippi quite a bit, and we fish the backwaters, and you can go down there, and people are not catching fish, and it's pretty amazing when we can just make a drift through, and all of a sudden we got a walleye in the cooler that's 17 to 19 inches. We don't keep anything over 20, obviously, but we do catch several over 20 and let them go, but to sit out there and watch everybody else not pulling in fish is pretty amazing. And
Right.
these colors are just smoking them. And, so it's like everybody's asking you, what are you doing? I mean, it's like we're just using 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce jigs,
Yep.
And they'll name the colors out that I dearly love, but what they're missing out on, in my experience, they don't have a lot of metallic jigs
Right.
in there. Metallic is huge down in that river.
Yep.
It's amazing. So,
But at night though, I like the black and orange, and I like the chartreuse and
I
black.
agree.
And anything with black on it is key for because it actually shows the jig better than
Right on.
It's darker than the water. So
I agree with you on that.
Black and chartreuse. I mean, that's all we use on the river at night. We crush the walleyes.
along with this is one of my favorite colors with that combo.
No, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, it's all depends on the situation you're in. I know we're either
Absolutely.
fishing the day or we're fishing at night. We all know what we need to do because we've been doing it for 15, 20 years, and it's
You
with
must be
this
really
jig.
young.
Huh? Well, I am. I am really young.
15,
Don't even
20
start with
years.
me on
Let's
that.
see.
I've been doing it for 15, 20 years.
55.
Well, I know, maybe longer, than that.
Hey, how about 4 years?
Well, that's fine, but this jig has been designed probably how long ago, Michael? 20 years ago.
Yeah, 90.
So that's when we really started nailing fish down on that river and everywhere else we go. It's a huge jig in Canada, and you see it swamped all over up there. People are always looking for these jigs.
Well, I've given knuckle balls to friends that have gone to Canada, and they'll outfish the guide, and the guide's like, "What in the world are you using?"
Oh, absolutely. I've had, how many times has that happened to us up there?
Right.
We come back in with fish and nobody else has even got anything. So
Yeah.
it does happen. I mean, I guess you got to believe in what you're using. Of course, I believe that in anything I do, but absolutely, these jigs for some reason just got a major control on fish. I mean, they love these things. I don't know why. It's just you did a hell of a job on it. Excuse me. You did a heck of a job, Mikey, on your design. I'm not gonna lie. I'm impressed.
No, but I can remember my uncle came up to Canada one year fishing, and he never seen fishing like that ever. Catching walleye after walleye, and stuff. But he had all these generic jigs, the typical jig, and he was fishing with my other uncle, his brother-in-law, and he found out why a knuckle ball is better than a regular jig, because he started fishing regular jigs and he was hanging up, so he was retying while the other guys were still fishing and catching fish, and he says that and then he would miss half his fish setting the hook.
Yeah.
And he finally came up to me, because he's kind of frugal guy when it comes to that kind of stuff. Come up, he says, that knuckle ball really is a big
It's
difference.
that wide open concept hook. I mean, you got 100% open when you're setting it. You're getting a lot of times it isn't right here. It's deep. I mean, it's up in the roof of their mouth.
Yeah, you look at any
and
other
they're sharp.
Look at any other walleye jig. The hook is completely vertical, off the head.
So when they're picking it up,
perpendicular
they're
off
picking
the
that
head,
hook right up into their
and
mouth.
this has the slanted hook design, so it keeps the hook gap 100% open. It's just, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
I will say it. I'm gonna say this. I have a friend that fishes Mille Lacs. He's fished Northland jigs for his whole life, and I had given him a box of FinTech knuckleballs, and it took him probably 2 years to finally get with the program, and now he will not use anything else. He said they crush them on knuckleballs. I mean, it's ridiculous. Now he's asking me for FinTech gear. I mean, it's pretty fun.
Well, I get the same thing up at work and where I'm at, and people are always asking me where I can get a hold of these things, and obviously you can go online, but they got a lot going for it, and unless you try it, you'll never know, I guess, So
that's the bottom line.
That is the bottom line. I mean,
because
it is so cool. I can't even help thinking that maybe I could attack the dang thing. I mean, you got to believe in what you're using. You got to believe in what you're doing, and you got to stare that fish right in the eye. That's just the way we all fish. We've always been like that.
Yep.
But these jigs have helped us, and they've helped us tremendously.
Confidence is everything.
Oh,
and,
my gosh,
with these jigs,
it's amazing.
You
So-
can't be more confident with what you're using out there.
I still can beat Mike though, 1-on-1 though. I think.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I know.
Depends on the day.
You did the number on me here not too long ago here. I think it was just like 3 days ago. So gotta have it. You gotta have it.
I'll also say, first thing with that question is you want to use as light as you can go. I mean, you want to use the
Absolutely.
lightest possible jig. Walleyes suck in their bait. They don't chomp on it like maybe a northern would. I mean, they suck in the bait, so you want to use as light as possible. So the lighter that you can use, obviously, the better.
In
But
the
yeah, I mean,
situation.
typically you're using an 1/8 ounce jig if you can get it down, if you're fishing in 10,
Right.
10 12
but
feet.
if you're not in the strike zone, then you need to go heavier
Right.
because you
Yep.
just.
That's like any jig.
Yeah, so if
fishing,
you have
though.
any sort of wind, 10 plus mile an hour wind, you're probably using a quarter.
Yep.
And I've even gone to the zone.
Oh,
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
get in
Well,
there,
many
they're
times.
drifting
The
too
big
fast.
waves,
and
2 3/4, and
You're
moving.
like I said before, I've been in Mille Lacs, we're 25 feet of water, and all of a sudden the wind picks up and everyone can't feel the bottom. Well, I throw on a 1/2 ounce
Well, you're-
sonar, and I have feel, and I'm catching fish.
Right.
And that's just the difference
Right.
if staying in the fish zone.
You need to get into the fish zone, down at the bottom for sure. And the lighter obviously is the best, but the conditions don't always subside for that, you know.
if your
so.
boat is anchored, you know, you can get by because
Oh,
it's just a
right.
matter of time
Yeah.
for it to go down. But if you're
Yeah.
if you're moving and covering some water and drifting or whatever,
But even
with
the winds,
windsock-
the winds can screw
even with the
that up.
windsock, you still
Right.
need to get. If you're
Yeah.
not feeling bottom, you're just basically
Right. Well,
drifting.
especially if you're in big water
not
and
fishing.
you're going over big waves. I mean, your jig's gonna pop up pretty high, and if you don't have a heavier jig to keep you on the bottom, you're gonna spend a lot of time out of the fish zone.
Absolutely. No, like you said, you got to know that you're there, obviously, and yeah, you just got to pick the right size for the right conditions, and that's in your color that you have a desire for. So, obviously, once again, for whether it's cloudy out or sunny out. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's all good. I mean, you'll find that zone.